Computer-generated imagery is the use of computer graphics to create three-dimensional images and special effects in both live-action, animated movies and television programs. In traditional animation, images are drawn or painted by hand on transparent celluloid sheets to be photographed and exhibited on film. Today on 48 Hours, we'll be looking at the career of CGI and animation. 48 Hours, own your future. Ryan developed his love for animation when he was still very young. He has a passion for storytelling and drawing. His dream is to write his own animation for Cartoon Network and is willing to work from the bottom up to achieve this.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I am 19 and I live in Fontainebleau, Randburg. I am currently at the animation school in Blairgowrie. I'm the first year there. I have a very big passion for 2D animation as it is and 3D animation. And I would really prefer to be the person behind the desk writing the story for other people to animate, to, develop the character, the world, where the people are, rather than, be the person to draw the characters. I've started where most people start in illustration, pencil illustration, and then I moved to digital animation. I prefer digital animation because edit undo is Control-Z, and it's the best thing you can have when you're doing this. The project currently on my screen is a short film we had to do for the end of the year. The project itself was a joy to make, and I really enjoyed this because I took the character I had been designing and developing the entire year and finally put her into a scene and made her move and made her alive. So 48 Hours has already given me the opportunity to do this, which I'm very grateful for. On top of that, I hope they can help me, meeting new people, getting experience, things like that. We're about to go meet my mentor, Kayla Bubb. She's about to show me the ins and outs of 3D, and I'm really excited to meet her, so let's go.
Kayla Bubb is a 3D animation generalist at Luma. Like Ryan, her love for animation started as a little girl when she watched 2D animation classics.
Hello, Kayla.
Oh, hi Ryan, how are you? Good, thank you. Are you excited for today?
Yes, very much.
That's awesome. Right, let's go.
Kayla, thank you for having me today. I want to know, how did you get into the animation industry as it is today?
Well, it goes back to my love of a TV series. I absolutely fell in love with the style of animation and the storytelling, and ever since I watched that whole series, I just wanted to be able to do things like that.
So being here now, what programs do you use?
Okay, so there are many different programs that are used. The main one is Houdini. It kind of allows you to go back and fix things. You'll find that other people are in Blender here, so that's a fantastic one that we will find you'll do modeling in, and then you'll kind of, take things, and then there's look development in it, and then sometimes we'll find that we want to try and do other things with it with the open rendering, source rendering.
So what personality should you have?
In terms of personality, you've got to just be upbeat. You've got to be willing to come in and work, learn. You've got to be accepting. Like, for example, if you know you've got to work overtime, you work overtime. You don't kind of fight the system. And as long as you are yourself and you want to actually work, that's all you really need. So yeah.
What other courses are there out there that you can do when you're taking this course?
The main one, if you want to study animation and 2D or 3D, you would need a 3D animation course or a 2D course. And then there's a lot of other ones you'll have to take in order to get credits. So those would be like film theory or art history. You'd need to maybe do some drawing classes, So they're all very different, but they all help to understand 3D. They all filter in some way to learning for the foundation of 3D. So it's not a cheap studying coursework. It ranges from about 60,000 all the way up to like 100,000. Depends on where you go and what you study, and can also go up per year. Sometimes you will need to have a grade 12 with a bachelor's pass to make sure that you can get in. That might be for more courseworks with a degree part to them. And maybe you'll have to look at the ASP points to see if you've got enough. It's not too low, but it's definitely workable. So if you just work well and get a good pass at matric, you'll be able to study at one of the universities or colleges.
I'm so excited to be here and to learn from you today. I'm specifically interested in learning about nuke. Can you just show me a few things in there that I can learn today?
Absolutely, you're very lucky because I'm a compositor here at Luma, so I can show you all things nuke. So yeah, let's go do it.
Oh.
Cool.
Coming up after the break, Ryan gets to experience life as a CGI animation artist with the help of his mentor, Kayla Bubb. Welcome back. Before the break, we met student Ryan Gallus, who wants to be a CGI animation artist. 48 Hours hooked him up with mentor Kayla Bubb, who's a 3D animation generalist working at Luma. Under her watchful guidance, Ryan gets to experience a day in the life of a CGI animation artist.
So we're going to go into nuke now. What I'm going to show you today is we're going to build a comp. We need to do a shot for cowbell, and we're going to kind of build up the comp, and I'm going to take you through the process on how we get an image, basically. So your main thing to start off with, you'll be to actually save your comp. This is your link to where you need to go. So I'm going to the desktop for 48 hours. And so we're going to say cowbell _01 because it's your first iteration. And then you're going to say .nk because that is nuke. So then you say, okay, save, and it saves into its being. And the way we're going to do it is in a structure called a fishbone structure. So we run down in a fishbone. So we start at the head and we go, or start at the tail and we go down, or vice versa. And you'll start with what we would say is a background because you need a background. So you've got your background, you're going to open that up and you can see the timeline has changed, so now it matches to your actual thing. Then we've got a viewer. Your viewer is how you can view things is on 1, you press here and you press 1. And that brings it up into the main screen. So we can say, okay, we're going to need the midground, we're going to need the foreground characters. We can bring them in more than one at a time, and then they open up like that. You look through your whole shot, and you can see this is the animated version. You know, we can like, okay, cool. We kind of understand what's happening, but we want to make things look a little bit more alive. We bring in a read node, and cryptomats are these fun things. So we can bring in, I think it's the object, and that you get one for each. We can say, okay, cool, color correct. And the color correct goes in. Obviously make sure that they connect up, because sometimes you're like, oh, something didn't work. Why didn't it work? Meanwhile, it just...
The bone did a little skip there.
Exactly. You missed it into the parts, I think. So now we've kind of got an idea of, we've done some changes in Nuke to kind of get a version of this. It's also a good thing to go through your actual comp now and again, play it through, see how it's working, because sometimes, especially with maths and stuff or rotos, they can move if you've got a keyframe on at the wrong place. Now I have a bit of a task for you to do, so something fun and different, and this is now more 3D. So we're going to have some fun and try and tell a little bit of a story with lighting. I have created a scene, basically, and we're going to kind of create a cyberpunk world for the scene.
So pinks, blues, harsh greens and things like that.
Yes, things like that is kind of, how do we create this world where it feels, these are your standing out points. The idea is to take, to change the lights, so give the windows and stuff some luminous lights. We'll go through that. The signs to become neon, and then obviously we want to try and put in some extra lighting from the side of these colors to try and get that look and feel. And then you can add lighting where you feel as well, and add your creative input. You good to go?
Yeah.
I will show you a really cool thing for, instead of, there's a nice part in Blender that you can create emission shaders. So I don't know if you've got them in Maya, but...
I think we do, I just don't think I got the chance to use them.
Okay, well we'll create emission shaders for the windows, and that will help, instead of having the area light.
So this would be like this.
Yes.
And then this shift, left click.
You can shift and click to place it. It will stick in the middle, but you can also move it to a certain point.
All right, so do you have a group for the lights?
So we have at the moment, so you might just have to, yes, those are all the different lights. And
Can
you
I hide them?
You can hide them or you can delete them. So you can say delete or X for delete.
Kayla was a great teacher today. She helped me a lot, and every question I asked, she had a very concise and very detailed answer for, which I appreciate because it helps me to understand exactly what I'm trying to do. So the blues we have here is obviously a very unique shade of blue, and I want that to almost stay unique. So for this, I want it to kind of be, because as you can see, it's already affecting the building there a bit as well, which I like. So we're going to bring this up to 1,000 as well. Is that 10,000? Nope, that's a normal 1,000.
There we go. Nice.
And it's already brought this side of the building to life, which is good. But I don't like the area, the way it's kind of falling onto the building.
And if you think about it, if we've got pink lights, the purple would be kind of created there anyway, but it's because you've got pink and blue.
Especially since we've got such a harsh blue here and such a harsh red on this side as well, it's almost like it's creating this mix of purple in the middle with this.
On the lights part, you need to go down here and you got to change it here to say it's an emission shader.
Yeah, it is. So what we want to do is go to 300. That's already way too much, as you can see. But I do want it to kind of feel like there's more buildings going off. So I think about 240 is actually going to be perfect.
That's nice.
I like that. And so now here's kind of what we've got going on. Constantly be moving. And as you can see, no matter where you look in the scene, it looks alive. I think that with all of this, we're done here.
I think it's very good. You've done a really amazing job. Brian handled his task very, very well. Once again, he was in a software that he's not used to. He listened to what I was asking for and kind of applied what he thought was important. And that's exactly what you want when you're coming to work in the industry.
So I am very proud of this. Thank you so much for everything you've taught me. And I think that this is ready to be rendered, composited, and taken into Nuke to do extra things with it.
I think so too. Thank you so much. Well done.
So today has just fueled my passion for animation and writing stories and creating scenes even more. Just to see, that I'm not alone in this industry, and yes, my ideas might be quote unquote unique, but other people can share in those ideas, and people have similar ideas to me and they have more experience than me to help me get those ideas out there. Is just really inspiring.
Coming up after the break, 48 Hours hooks Ryan up with entrepreneurs who'd catapulted to success after starting their own business in CGI and animation. Welcome back. Before the break, we met Ryan, who wants to become a CGI animation artist. Ryan was in his element after spending the day with Kayla Bubb, who's an experienced 3D animation generalist. Now we introduce him to entrepreneur Nosipho and Rob van den Brucht. They're going to tell him everything he wants to know about running his own animation agency. First, let's catch up with Ryan.
I've had an amazing first day in 48 Hours. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, 48 Hours has hooked me up with a real power couple. Rob and Nosipho van den Brucht are the founders of Ochre Tribe. I'm going to pitch my labor of love to them, and I hope they like it.
48 Hours went behind the scenes to give our candidate the lowdown on who he's about to meet. Let's hope this helps his pitch.
My name is Rob van den Brucht, and I work at a company called Ochre Tribe.
I am Nosipho Maketo van den Brucht, and I'm the managing director of Ochre Tribe.
Ochre Tribe was a company we founded in 2014. We focus on animation and visual effects, and we work with directors both locally and overseas.
Rob and I met at least 20 years ago. We've been together ever since. We have 3 kids together, and we're loving the journey that we're going through, being partners in life but partners in business as well.
How we decided to start a company is we had been employed for quite some time, we had a lot of experience. And I think we both just came to that point where we felt we want to do our own thing and I guess be part of the animation and film industry in South Africa.
I draw a lot of inspiration from what I see around me, the people around me, it's the environment as well when it comes to creativity as well. Yeah.
What inspires us is great stories. We want to make something that just leaves a mark on people. When they watch it, they're like, wow, you know, this is an amazing experience that I've just gone through. And also making South Africa stand out internationally is one of the things that greatly inspires us.
So my advice would really be open your world to all sorts of experiences, try them out, the good experiences that is. And I suppose even bad experiences will grow you and teach you. So I would definitely say be open to and adapt, as I said before, be agile and yeah, and travel as well. I think traveling is very important because it does open your mind.
Now that we know more about Nosipho and Rob, it's time for Ryan to make his grand entry and learn more about their business.
Okay, so we're a visual effects and animation studio. We make feature film effects for film, for TV series, as well as commercials. And yeah, we've been doing that now for 5 years.
We incorporated in 2014 and fully fledged in 2015.
So what did you guys think you could add to the industry?
We wanted to do something that was not done before in South Africa, something big. We have bigger dreams than the country at that point allowed. And we're continuously trying to push for that boundary to be moved out further and further. And I think for us that was sort of the driving motivation.
What are the pros and cons of running your own business?
I think certainly the pros are you are able to sort of work within your, not necessarily time because you still have clients, so you still need to account to clients. But I think there's that flexibility to do things your way to some extent. One of the sort of challenges I can I think about is the economic situation in our country. So as a young business, you are constantly in high competition for the same jobs. The budgets are shrinking, and we are in a race where we're all trying to dip from the same pot.
All right, so I've got a pitch for you. There are 2 short films. One's about 1 minute long, the other one's about 3 or 4 minutes long. I would like to, accept any criticism that you give me, any ideas you might have on how to develop it better, what I am doing that's working, what's not working, things like that. So yeah, I'll just come closer and show you what I've got.
Sure, sounds exciting.
So here are the 2 ideas I have. So the basic gist of it is the main character's name is Kristen. Okay. She is a fish girl. And the entire world is based off anthropomorphic characters. Okay. Part of the backstory is when she was younger, she was playing outside while her dad was busy fixing stuff in the house. He fell off a ladder. While she was playing, she distracted him. So the mom kind of has a little bit of resentment towards her, as in you were kind of the catalyst for his death type deal. So this story basically follows her during final exams in matric. But due to all the rejection and the grappling tragedies with her family life and growing up, she's become very angry and she can't sit down and focus on things. She just gets angry when things aren't going her way. And you'll see through the first story, it's basically her breaking, realizing that her anger and where her anger comes from, and then how to break that anger. And then in the second story, you'll see she still gets angry, but she's quicker to realize that the anger isn't coming from a good place, so she needs to take a step back and actually approach the problem in a more sophisticated manner.
So my first impression of Ryan, he was very confident, really passionate about what he does. Just generally a likable guy. Immediately you sort of want to have a chat with him.
I think on the character development, you've done quite well in doing so. So I think that portion, you are able to capture it really, really well in terms of your character, and it's fully described. The only thing I sort of struggled with is locating her. So I think that portion you didn't develop it fully enough. So I think on your next piece of work, that's something that you should also look at.
Yeah, I think Nosipho says it quite quite well there already. I think you delve a lot into her as a character, but what I'm struggling a little bit with is more the flow of the story. That you sometimes get a little bit lost in describing, how she's behaving, and I think in doing so you kind of not focusing on what the story needs to tell us. I understand the child, Kristen, she's trying to appeal to her mother's sort of love and affection. So I think there needs to be clues for the viewer to understand a bit more how this all came about. Why is the mom seemingly not, connecting to her daughter? Visually, I think it's quite nice that
Yes.
she lives next to her mom's mansion, and she's like in this little cottage. It's very visual, and I think that can work really well.
The other thing I must say, like for me, you, once again, very good with expressions, and you give a lot of detail, which is important to some extent because we need to, find ourselves in that character. So that for me, I think, keep going, keep pushing that. But as we've said, there's a disjoint sometimes in terms of the coherence of the story.
So I need to work more on getting those beats between them.
Exactly.
Right?
For me, I was particularly interested in his script writing because he mentioned that that's the area that he wants to go into. I would say, one of the things that he needs to sort of focus on is coherence. And I think less on maybe too much color, less on that, and a lot more on substance of the characters. And I think he will find his path.
Thank you for your feedback. I take it to heart, and I will definitely, try to improve, try to strive to do better. I always love learning. I never want to stop it. So thank you so much for having me here at Chocolate Tribe, and it's been quite an honor. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much also for coming in.
So Ryan, when we met you today, the first thing that we saw was like a very enthusiastic, passionate sort of person. When you deal with people who are passionate about something, it just rubs off on everybody. And if you can now top that up with amazing skills, that obviously you're going to be learning over the next couple of years, I think you stand an amazing chance to be very successful in the industry.
We've come to the end of a jam-packed 48 hours, but we'd like to do something that makes life just a wee bit better for Ryan.
So Ryan, I really enjoyed having you here. I look forward to hearing a lot more from you and seeing more from you. And it would actually be great if you come and do your internship with us.
I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I would gladly come and learn more here and experience what it's like to actually be in the working world. So thank you so much. The internship I got offered, I'm really grateful for. I'm super excited. I'm quite overjoyed. It was completely unexpected. I love learning, and I really look forward to taking them up on that opportunity.
If you want to be part of the 48-hour experience, contact us on our social media page. If you're interested in more careers, make sure to go to our YouTube page and get inspired.
So dear Ryan, we're really excited to have you on board, and we really want that passion and that enthusiasm to continue. And let's see where this journey takes you. And I think it's also to all other Ryans out there, if you are passionate, you're ready to work, you've got a great work ethic, Chocolate Tribe is the place for you.